The theme of the conference is how architecture can contribute to the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And when those goals were adopted, they were adopted with an overarching promise, and that is the promise of leave no one behind. Also from the UN, behind the promise of leave no one behind is a strategy, and that is to reach the furthest behind first. We talk about sustainable futures because we need to reach those goals, that sustainable future, but we take the plural because we know that that future needs to be localized. It will be it will be complex, it will be hybrid. It's not a future, it's hopefully many futures.
I think, as I said, for me, it means when I say all, it means all the marginalized sections, whether they are poor people, whether they are women, whether they are the vulnerable groups. Why should anybody be left behind? They all are entitled to a certain level of living, and today they don't have it. So if we want SDGs to really, that we should, get to the goals, then all of them have to be brought up.
I think thinking about nature in general with other spaces is so fundamental in that, because I'm going to say this is like the base of our life. With no trees, with no plants, with no animals, so our planet won't exist. And so it's not to be just focused on we, but to focus on everything that made us be capable of staying on this planet. And trees, animals, microbe, and whatever is surrounding us is fundamentally part of the debate. Yes.
Whenever we are called upon designing a building or a place or a neighborhood, we are of course commissioned to do it for someone. But if every building would only care about its own, you would end up with a city of sort of self-centered individuals. And I think in that sense, we always try to use the need to build as an opportunity to, in a way, create an invitation or a contribution to that particular neighborhood or that particular place.
Well, I believe that we are one big family sharing one beautiful planet. And when I'm designing, and designing is constant decision making, I'm trying to have in my mind, what if 8 billion people are also making the same design decision now?
By saying that we have the same clients, all of us, which is Homo sapiens, which comes in all sizes and many colors and from all parts of the world. But basically, we are the same biological walking creature who has the same story, has the same senses, move the same way, can see the same distance.
But we really need to recognize, how do we get into this place in the first instance? For me, in terms of talking about the space and who is this for, I think we also need to acknowledge the privilege of who is here at the Congress.
It's great to talk about inclusivity, but maybe another way of framing it is collaboration. In that, in tackling the sort of big questions that we need to tackle, we need to work with the whole range of voices and stakeholders, both human and non-human, or as Rosie Braidotti puts it, dehumanized humans as well. And I think for architecture in particular, I think we are very good at sort of taking a bird's eye or God's eye view of things. And we're also very good at talking, and especially talking to each other. But maybe now is a good time to also begin listening more.
The living meaning, including non-human species, because I really think that what we do as architects is impacting, often negatively, other species, obviously. And so when I talk about sustainability with everyone, when we talk about it inside our office, we think of it as, these spheres of influence, from the very first one, which is yourself. How do you be your best, person? Then then how do we work with our families, our communities including architecture, and then it gets to, the whole planet.
I unfortunately feel that we have already left so many people behind. So I don't know what we can do now to not leave anyone behind without actually making some of the people that we've left behind catch up first. I am resistant to just make it about humans. I think if we are the leading species on the planet and we claim that place, then we ought to be responsible for other species as well.
I want to address this to the process, how we work. Working in the rural isn't just the way that you work in the cities. No, you're not the designer, the architect who's dictating the design, but it's really a different process, and much more beyond.
If we want to leave no one, nothing behind, it is necessary to offer the essential services for each one of us. Social housing or housing, work, supply for having access to the essential things, medical services, education, culture, enjoying the public spaces. I think that this is essential today in our cities to provide.
The fact that we are all different is for us an important aspect of design. So, can we imagine as much as possible people inhabiting the spaces and the cities and the places that we design? Can we inspire everybody?
It's basically leaving no human behind. Yeah, at its core, I think about blindness or the loss of hearing or a mobility impairment or a neurodiverse condition. That's normal. That's part of the human condition. That ability is it's transitional. It comes and goes.
There has never been a time when more people have been left behind, and there's never been a time when the statement, leave no one behind, has been uttered more frequently. And this is the total hypocrisy of our time that manifests in language in the extreme.